What was your first job?
I worked at Round Table one summer, actually in high school. I was making pizzas.
What is something you learned last week?
Uh, well, see, last week was the Capitol riots. I never knew that was the first time that the Capitol building had ever been forcibly entered, and that previously in the Civil War, Confederate soldiers got close, but this was the first time ever.
What is your favorite part of the day?
Probably dinner with family. I think, yeah, even though we're all at home, we all have different schedules. So finally getting together for a meal together is it.
What is one thing you can do that no one else can do?
No one else. Well, I don't know if, well, I'm sure other people can do it, but I am kind of proud that I made my own deck, and then when we expanded our garage out for some more living space, I drew up the plans that the city passed for that. So I guess I'm proud of those. But I feel like it's not very many other people can do it.
If you could master any language, what would it be?
Well, I mean, I do speak Japanese. I don't know if I'm a master at it because of all the kanji. But as far as like a language I don't know too well, I think I love the sound of French. It'd be wonderful to speak French, though.
And what chore do you absolutely hate doing?
Hate doing. Yeah, I like things like mowing the lawn or pruning. Basically, things that just come back and I have to do it again. You know, I'd rather build something that's permanent than to keep cutting something that grows back.
What do you get every time you order groceries?
Every time. I don't know if it's every time. I do know that if we do, you know, like nuts, I usually thinking of my supply of, you know, peanuts and almonds and things like that. And there's some rice crackers I like to eat with peanuts. So sometimes in combination, I'd be thinking about that snack anyway.
What is your fondest memory of when you were in high school?
I guess I did have a chance in one chance to kind of go on this California coast camping trip. I think it was like an April break or something like that. And now that I look back on it, I have fond memories of just doing something different and outdoors like that.
If you had to eat the same meal for a week, what would it be?
A whole week, probably something like sushi, or if it's too much rice, maybe just the sashimi. You know, the raw fish itself. If I had to eat a whole week, yeah, that's what I need if I could afford it.
What do you like most about your current job?
So I like that, like when applying it to the real world, and especially when I notice that students see those connections as well. I mean, also the skills that are being developed and the thinking skills, but then when it's tied to the real world or their own lives, I think that's what I like most.
Where did you grow up?
So let's see, I grew up my first like 6 years actually in Colorado, Boulder, Colorado. And then I moved to this area, the South Bay, after that. So a lot of my schooling was in the South San Jose area.
If you could witness one event from history, what would it be?
I don't know how much history. I guess it must have happened, right? I mean, it'd be interesting to see like how the native Indians, like right here, lived like 1,000 years ago. If everything would look different right now, obviously, but how is life for them here then? That would be really, really cool to see.
And what is the most embarrassing moment you've ever had?
Well, in college, I went to the bathroom, and then I, at some point, hours later, realizing that behind me, the toilet paper was still hanging out behind me the whole time was I guess embarrassing to think about. I don't know how many, like, it wasn't like I knew who saw it and didn't say anything or laughed or what, but that sticks in my mind.
What are your thoughts on climate change?
Climate change. Well, I mean, I believe it's happening, and I think it is a little bit of a race to that tipping point of no return, so to speak, and that. And I do believe that we need to, preserve it to buy time, that maybe we can do things that would help and hopefully not reach that tipping point by pushing that tipping point further and further back, hopefully. So yeah, it's for your generation and my daughter's generation and everything. I think we need to really start thinking deeply about it.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Well, I would love to be able to heal, use some white magic and, and or potion or something, and be able to heal people. That would be a really useful superpower, I think.
What would be the title of a movie about yourself?
Well, let's see. I think something along the lines of like service to others, or maybe just that as the title. Sort of the way I've sort of seen myself as in my calling in life, so to speak. Service to others.
What would you do as the President of the United States?
Well, it's a tough job. I guess we realize that the words from a president do matter, and so if I were president, I'd definitely be using words and phrases of healing and of coming together, and I really try to get away from red versus blue and which party, and it's just what are your true convictions, right? And let's respect them and unify. So using words in that way.
There's one question you could ask about the future. What would it be?
The future. Let's see. Well, I mean, my dad was an astrophysicist, and he always dreamed someday maybe we'd have people living on Mars or something, and I'd like to know if that ever does actually happen as well.
Who is your biggest inspiration?
So my teachers, my high school teachers were mine, and I'm sort of hoping to pay it forward as well. As I had a couple of English teachers that made learning fun and then meaningful to me.
What is something you can't do but you wish you could?
Can't do but wish I could. I guess maybe it's possible. I wish I could just grow all my own food, just be self-reliant and be able to be natural in that way. I wish I probably, if I could make more efforts in doing more of it, but it would be something I wish I could do fully.
What is the first thing you do after work?
Well, yeah. So usually I we have 4 chickens now, and usually I like to just quickly be able to go outside and feed them some like sunflower seeds, or I grow some wheatgrass that they love to eat. So I kind of, in a sense, I'm going out to feed the birds, but it kind of changes the pace of things for me right now. I mean, we're in remote, so I think that's, just getting out is the main thing there.
What is your favorite memory from your childhood?
Favorite memory? Well, I used to love riding the bike all around my neighborhood. And I mean, this is probably in the summer, but I would ride my bike like just all over the place. I felt like it was like my own turf as well. And so I meet my neighbors and make friends that way, and things like that. That's a childhood memory I have.
What is something you wish you knew at age 16?
See, well, I mean, I kind of knew, but didn't know totally, right? Like that how quickly time will pass. I think you live your life a little differently when you know just how quickly all these moments will you'll never get them back, right? And it probably make me just wake up a minute earlier and have a different attitude each day if I kind of knew all that truly inside.
What is one thing you want to do before you die?
Well, let's see. So, I mean, one thing that's hopefully very possible, because my dad had mentioned, I ought to one day, is just to visit Europe. I haven't done that in all my years, and so hopefully that's quite possible. Kind of a dream would be like if I could ever publish a book or a short story or something like that. That would be cool.
What is your favorite word?
Favorite word? I think discovery. Discovery, I think, is a very positive word and attitude.
What do you do when you can't fall asleep?
So let's see. I mean, I do start doing the counting sheep thing. I tell myself I better be asleep by 100. Ultimately, if I get that high, it's sort of like I just need to meditate and be conscious of my breathing and things like that. I guess the thing is, if I start thinking or reflecting too much, I'll never get to sleep. So I just not do that, I guess.
What was the last book you read?
So I mean, the last book that wasn't for teaching. I pleasure reading. I've gotten more into more like mystery books because they're kind of like page turners. So there's an author, David Baldacci, I think writes good mystery. The last one I read was one called Redemption.
What is your guilty pleasure?
Guilty pleasure. Well, I don't know how guilty I feel. I know if I drink too much coffee or tea, it sometimes I realize I've done too much. But yeah, usually that's my pleasure that I kind of look forward to as well. But I'm starting to enjoy tea. I'm adding tea in because I'm starting to enjoy that as well.
What is your favorite animal and why?
Well, so we have a dog. We have a cockapoodle named Mika, and I think dogs just they like to play, and also, I mean, they kind of need their exercise, so then they kind of demand you to exercise with them, right? So it makes you exercise, or at least be active. So that's why I like dogs.
What are you most looking forward to in the next decade?
Next decade. Well, I'd like to, hopefully we can travel at some point soon. like Europe. My daughter's 13, so I guess in 10 years she'll be 23. I guess I'm looking forward to see, what kind of adult she becomes.
What book do you recommend?
So there's the book. It's nonfiction though. It's called Educated by Tara Westover. I think that's a really interesting book. It's kind of like The Glass Castle as well, but I think it's a really interesting read, knowing it's a true story.
What is your favorite song right now?
Right now, so right now in my head is "Let It Be" by the Beatles. I have a 3/4 guitar that I don't know how to play, so I was looking at simple songs, and that's the one I guess I'm working on right now. So it's kind of in my head, but it has a great melody and message. So,
what is a common thing you think about when you're alone?
I guess my thoughts of my dad pop up. He passed away. I guess that's about 1.5 years ago now. And there's a picture of him up, in our living room, and he'll just sort of pop in my head in times like that.
Product would you stockpile if you found out it wasn't going to be sold anymore?
Wouldn't be sold anymore. Well, I'll not say toilet paper, because that's the thing that we saw happening. But if it's not sold at all, I mean, so like the whole thing with books and Fahrenheit 451, and all that. I mean, so many ideas and culture wouldn't be readily spread and preserved. So just any kind of book. Story, fiction, nonfiction, even comics, right? Just anything to be able to preserve that stuff.
What was the last thing you purchased?
Oh, well, my most recent, I guess, Amazon order was a bunch of organic black tea, but that's actually because I brew my own kombucha, and so I was running out of that for my kombucha drink. So yes, that's the tea.
If you could meet any person, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
I'd like to. I guess I'd like to meet Mother Teresa. I think there's just a lot of wisdom she would have, or just how she, just a sense of her vibe, I guess, too. I don't think history books or anything recorded can give you that feel of the person. So I'd like to meet her.
Out of all the places you've visited, what was your favorite?
Going back to Japan is always a favorite. Because the food and the shopping and everything. Although to some degree I've gone many times now. I guess the one place that's sort of different that I was happily surprised with was when I went to Montreal one time, and it's kind of a mixture of cultures there, Western and French culture there, that I thought was really interesting.
If you could change your name, what would you change it to?
Well, so I've actually, when I was little, I was thinking, should I change my name to Sean? Because Shozo Shimazaki could work, my name's Shozo Shimazaki, so you have the alliteration going for both.
What would you do with $10 million?
$10 million. I mean, there's some obvious personal things that would be great to pay off: my house, and probably say my daughter's education might be something, obviously. But there's in terms of like any donations, I came across a site called Donors Choose that I didn't realize was there. You can look up teachers' projects throughout the country that they're asking for donations for that you can help with making those projects possible. I think that was really neat.
What is your favorite restaurant?
My favorite restaurant? Yeah, so I guess I go by my mood at times, but usually well, in the past, before, we would often go to like some Vietnamese noodle shop, and the hot pho noodles and the soup. I kind of enjoy that.
Do you believe aliens exist?
Aliens? No. I mean, I actually, yeah, I kind of do believe we're not alone in the universe, if you put it that way, I guess. So I guess, yes, I believe aliens exist.
What are your biggest pet peeves?
Yeah, I guess for me, it's pretty clear. Whenever I'm in a situation where I'm breathing someone else's cigarette smoke, that's just, it usually happens at a red light, when I have my window down and someone else is smoking in their car with their window down, and I just feel it's just the rudest thing to have to breathe that smoke in.
What is your favorite holiday?
Well, so I mean, I guess the end of the year stuff, whether it's Christmas or New Year's, as well. Just I suppose, like many, maybe just getting presents at that time of year made it extra special.
Do you have a favorite sports team?
Yeah, I mean, so I do. I'm kind of a Bay Area fan. I've been a 49ers, A's, and Warriors fan quite a bit. More recently, in terms of college, my daughter and I sort of follow the Santa Clara women's basketball team. I know the Stanford women's team is doing quite well this year, but we haven't really had a history of following them. But yeah, usually local teams.
What was your proudest moment as a teacher?
Yeah. So I mean, very, very recently, I was very humbled and I guess proud then of the honor I received recently, and from an ex-student, Avishi Agaswar, who nominated me for the honored.org. I was their December honoree, so I was very proud moment to think that she would think of me in that way, an ex-student, to nominate me that way.
If there's one thing you could improve at Monte Vista, what would it be?
Yeah, it would be nice to have, lots of electives. I think even within English, if there's like a creative writing class, or or kind of even a film class, but in another sense, like just like a cooking class, or fixing things class, right, or cars or whatnot. Just a lot of elective choices would be really cool that aren't all about, that are more hands-on too.
If you were not a teacher, what would you be?
Oh, well, like realistically, I'm guessing in this area, I probably might end up being some kind of project manager for some high-tech company, I guess. Maybe something like that. But in my dreams, I wish I was like a scout for some sports team, like a baseball scout, and my job was to see how good certain players were in the country, and report back if we like that player, and all that. That's kind of a dream. That would be a dream job.
What is the strangest thing a student has ever asked you?
Strangest thing. Well, I mean, what popped in my head was it was early in my teaching career. I went to a football game, and one of my students saw me, and then I wasn't in my school clothing, right, and and I said hi, and this student, instead of saying hi, looked at me and said, do teachers really wear jeans? Yeah, and I guess in her mind it was like, just not. That's not what teachers aren't real people who wear jeans, right? So it's kind of an interesting statement. It still kind of sticks in my head.
If you had to get a tattoo, what would it be and why?
A tattoo. Well, yeah, I don't see myself getting one, but I guess if I did, I mean, I always like the image of like a bird in flight. I think that would be yeah, some form of bird flying.
And finally, what is the most valuable lesson you've learned in your life?
Yeah, ultimately it's just we wake up each day, we go through a day, and just to really focus on that day with positivity and enthusiasm is all we can control of ourselves. We can't control so much the future as well, and certainly can't change the past and can't change other people, but we can change that aspect of ourselves each day, and in the end it'll make us I think enjoy each day more.